productive. I really also, I think I got to take my hat off to Coach Jackson and his staff. They did a great job all week. We lifted them a bunch last week, trying to continue to develop them, and they handled it well. They really did. Our goals for the bye week were very specific. There were a lot of things that we were looking for in that week, and we sat down as a staff and we set goals. Like we said last week, we're always trying to be fair, consistent, and demanding in what we're asking for from our guys, but at the same time, we want them to have fun and enjoy a great game. And we wanted to make sure that we created all those things in the elements of practice last week so we could get better in all areas of the game. A couple of things that we really wanted to focus on was continuing to cultivate a competitive environment at all positions. We also wanted to be very deliberate with our practice methods in an attempt to improve our performance. So in order to do that, we wanted to make sure that we were emphasizing the right things. So the number one thing was emphasizing accurate execution, along with great effort, but accurate execution, doing things and doing them right, getting things done correctly. So technique, alignment, assignment, all the details that go into accurately executing, that was a big deal. We talked about that with our kids a ton, but we wanted to do more than just get through it. So we wanted to make sure that we had methods by which to make sure we were improving, having a measurement tool to do that. So we did some unique things, some things that I had not seen done, with our teams before. We tracked all of our things such as MAs, technique issues, loafs, hand placement, every detail that comes down to executing their job correctly, we tracked it. And every time there was an inability to execute that correctly, we tracked that, and we kept that, and we logged an up down for each one of those mistakes. But we also wanted to make sure that we stressed the importance of our guys to understand that is football. You're going to make mistakes at times, so we wanted them to understand that you got to keep playing, and the most important play has got to be the next play. So we tried to create incentive for them to continue to keep playing. So in between our practice periods, we created very specific competitions that had to do with things we needed to improve in as well, like accuracy from our quarterbacks. So we put those guys through accuracy competitions that would allow them to gain up, downs, back for their team. So they kept playing. And then, we do things like directional punting. So if our punters were able to directionally punt successfully and put the ball where we wanted it put so we could cover effectively, then they would be able to gain up, downs, back for their team. Same thing, we tried to make it fun with them. Field goal kickers, same thing. I think Wyman made a 65-yard plus field goal last week, which was a big deal. And I mean, those guys believe in that guy right now. And that was something that I thought was really good for us. We even had a little fun. We had a big man red zone 7-on-7 that got pretty competitive between the offensive lineman and defensive lineman, and they were able to gain up, downs, back for the offensive side and the defensive side. Our coaches got involved. We had some accuracy throws that I won't tell you how those went, but Leaper actually got involved. He was involved in one of the games. And the kids, they really enjoyed. I think they enjoyed that, and it kind of kept them going and kept them practicing. And I thought that was one of the best things our coaches came up with, was how do we track the issues that were happening, but then still motivate them to continue to play the next play, because that's going to be the most important thing. And I think that helped us by understanding we're never out of it. You always have a shot, so keep playing. And, our goal was to end the day with 0 up downs. And we didn't accomplish it the first day, but we did the second, which was good. You want to see it decline. So hopefully that translates into us being more effective as we move forward. We wanted to stress to our kids that this is a fun game, man. You need to have fun doing it. And winning's fun. So we want to create a winning culture, and we need to understand how important that is to us and our stakeholders here. So we want to create the ways to be successful and create that type of fun by being accurate. Finally, we wanted to finish with the understanding of the fact that we value production, just like the world does. We are going to go by what we see, not what people say, not what people say outside of our room, but what we see out there in terms of who is producing. I think there's a great example, Tyler Patrick, who caught, I want to say, 5 or 6 passes last week. That wasn't an accident. He went from the scout team 2 weeks ago to playing for us and being productive. And he's a great testament to why you continue to work and you have to produce. And man, that's a great deal by him. He's not the only one. Larry Hughes is another guy. There's several new faces out there that have earned their way, that come back to the whole competition of earning their way. So we really put a lot of emphasis on going back to our plan, on how we're going to get this done and really focusing in on some of the things that we've struggled with as we went into those first game weeks. You know, I really liked the mentality and the approach of our players last week. I thought they worked to improve every day, not to just get through it. That was something that was important for me to see. Anybody can go through 2 hours of workout. Not just anybody can get a lot out of it and try to get better individually. So I was pleased with them there. It tells me kind of that we're on the right track, and we've got some good leaders on the team that are helping us with that. So very productive week. You know, our coaches spent the balance of the week, Thursday and Friday, on the road all over the country. Man, those guys they have worked their tails off. They haven't got to see their families just a whole lot, but you know, they understand that when they get into it, but they really have. They worked their tails off. We got to go see a bunch of good friends and see a lot of good football, not only around the state of Kansas, but really throughout the country. We did it Thursday night, Friday night, you know, common nights for high school football. Got to see some really good players, which was fun, and then really get to see some old friends, which was good, and continue to develop those relationships, and then some Saturday night, which were good as well. So I thought the week was extremely productive. I'm proud of our entire program because we made strides and we got better this week. So that was good. We needed to do that heading into our next opponent, who is Rutgers. And, you know, it's going to be a great place to go play. It's the birthplace of college football. It's going to be a great environment, lots of history there. I think it's homecoming for them and letter winners weekend. So I know that place it'll be rocking and it'll be full. It's a great environment. I know our kids are looking forward to that next opportunity, and it happens to be on the road, and obviously it's a road game, so it's something a little bit different. I think that helps them with their juice level a little bit. So I know they're excited about that moving forward. They're a really good football team, offensively, defensively, on special teams. You know, offensively, I like their quarterback. I think the guy can throw the ball. I think he does a really nice job moving the ball around. I read a lot of things that say other things, but I like him. I think the guy's a good player. He throws it well. He leads the Big Ten in completion percentage. You know, they average 23 first downs a game. I mean, they're a productive offense. Defensively, man, they got some really good players. Their defensive tackles coming off injury. Darius Hamilton, he just came back off injury, man. You can tell that guy is a difference maker. I mean, he was a really good player for them last year, and he's a good player. They got another defensive end, number 58, that man, that guy's a really good one. He's a good one. We got to know where that guy is, and we got to have a good plan for him. He's a good player. You know, they've got a young secondary, but those guys are all capable. I think their linebackers are a good, solid crew. They run the ball well, and they're very well coached. Coach Flood has done a tremendous job there. His record there speaks for itself in terms of what he's done production-wise, wins and losses. So it'll be a great challenge for us. You know, we're going to benefit from the return of a couple of guys. Hopefully we'll get Bobby Hartzog back this week. We think things are looking pretty good for him. Not totally sure on it yet, but I think we're looking pretty good there. We're fairly healthy, which is pretty good. I think Josh Stanford's the only guy that's still kind of banged up a little bit. He'll kind of be a game time decision or a travel decision when we see how he moves around today and tomorrow. But other than that, you know, our guys have done a good job taking care of their bodies, and we're fairly healthy heading into the game. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an overview of those guys. The last thing I want to say is those guys, I tell you, we have really got to do a great job in the third that we take a lot of pride in, which is the special teams area. They've scored numerous touchdowns on the kick returns. They have one of the most explosive kick returners in the country, Janarius Grant. He will be a great challenge to stop. We've had him every week. Every week we have played a very explosive returner, and our guys have answered the bell, and we've got to do a great job this week. This guy, I mean, he kept them in the game against Washington State almost by himself with some of the crazy things he did in the return game. Very explosive, man. What a great player to watch. We've got to hem him up on punt returns and kickoff returns. He's a talented guy. But they create a lot of pressure in their punt protection or in their punt rush, which creates some of those big returns. And they led the country last year, if I'm not mistaken, in block kicks. So they're very aggressive, take a very NFL approach to that. It'll be a great matchup between our special teams and their special teams. We'll really get to see where we are this week because they do a really good job there. So that's something that you might want to take note of because they do a great job there, and he's an explosive guy. So with that being said, it gives you a little bit of background about what we did last week and kind of what we're looking forward to this week. So let's take a few questions.